Alright guys, we've got 2 videos for the day. We still haven't got all the topics we wanted to talk about. We're going to do it live tomorrow night. Alright, yes, tomorrow night we're going to do a live show, guys. Everybody, I want to see you all there because I'm committing to it. So roughly this time as this video goes up, maybe a little bit before depending on the upload. Yeah, about this time. Video will be live and we're going to cover a lot of topics. And if you guys have suggestions, feel free to post them in this video or post them in the chat with the live stream tomorrow and we'll talk about them. Alright, let's do it. Let's talk about the DNC because the DNC has just had their annual cancer marathon. DNC convention-a-thon. And that was pretty cringy. I'm not going to lie, it was pretty bad actually. I don't know what was more cringy. Watching the DNC convention or watching an ex-stripper who used to drug and rob from men interview Joe Biden. And by that I mean Cardi B. I don't know what's more cringy. I really, really don't. But the biggest cringe that came out of the DNC was this. The DNC has disabled the chat room after trolls crash Warren's appearance at the Native American caucus meeting. Who would have thought? Native American, Warren. You know that test that she did with the whole 1 in 1,024th? Yeah, that percentage, that 6 to 10 generations ago where she was claiming it was a grandmother. That the same Elizabeth Warren that went through and used her Native American heritage to write a cookbook and to also go through and get on the bar exam. On other news, I'm coming out with the Chinese cookbook tomorrow. Yeah, because I feel like I'm Chinese on the inside. Apparently that's all it takes these days. But let's jump into it. So, many trolls flooded the Democrat National Convention Native American caucus meeting where Elizabeth Warren was slated to speak that organizers disabled the chat room accompanying the live stream event. The Trump campaign and other conservatives on social media pointed out that the Massachusetts senator would be speaking at the event on Tuesday while alluding to Warren's previous claims of Native American ancestry. Some critics of Warren's noted that the sidebar chat in the convention was accessible to anyone. And I'm so disappointed that I was not invited to this. Guys, why was I not invited? I would have loved to have done this, but anyway. Some on Twitter encouraged others to join and post criticism of Warren. Where was my invite? Where was your red panda? Alright, anyway. Posters sent messages referring to Pocahontas, a slur that President Trump uses when talking about Warren's 1024th as a reference to the small amount of Native American ancestry Warren could have based on a 2018 DNA test that showed that she was Native American ancestry to 6 or 10 generations ago. No, it didn't. It showed that she was 1 in 1024th to South American Native industry. South American Native Indian, which would have been something like Mayan, Incan, or something like that. Mexican, or something like that. It wasn't even American. It was South American for a start. Showed that she was Native American ancestry to 6 to 10 generations ago and sent dozens of snake emojis, a way of calling Warren a snake. Hi, my name is Elizabeth Warren. I'm here to take your culture for my own personal belief, read one of the messages from someone who identifies as Chief Whitesnake. Others in the chat room condemned those bad-mouthing Warren. Sure. There's always going to be some people that stick up for her. Please be respectful. No matter your opinions on Warren's heritage, she established one of the strongest platforms for Indian country. Huh? Did she? What? Really? Anyway. She's an attendee identified as Dr. Aaron Payment. Please do not alienate her. We need all the help we can get. I want to know if that's actually a troll because that name sounds really weird. But anyway. Organisers were apparently trying to manage the flood of trolls about half an hour into the event before Warren was slated to speak. Organisers disabled the chat. They disabled the chat, where single-handedly set a new land speed record for bullying the DNC into silencing freedom of speech. one person had encouraged the trolls to say in a tweet. Warren has long faced intense criticisms of her claims of Native American heritage and family law that her parents eloped during her mother being part Cherokee and Delaware. Sorry, her mother really. Oh, really? Well, that's weird because they say 6 to 10 generations, which would have been your great grandmother or something like that. So, yeah. But anyway, she listed herself as Native American or American Indian on her Texas state bar card. I feel like I'm Chinese. And contributed to recipes to a powwow chow cookbook. Tomorrow, we come up with a cookbook on how to make fried rice. Fried rice? Fried rice! Trump often calls Warren Pocahontas in references to her claims. In 2018, Warren took a man and made public a DNA test that found she had overwhelming European ancestry and one Native American ancestor 6 to 10 generations back, making her as little as 1 in 1,024th in Native American heritage. After enduring criticisms, Warren reportedly apologized for naming herself as a minority, when she's clearly a majority. But that doesn't stop her from getting onto the DNC's Native American caucus meeting, because they couldn't find a Native American, apparently. Really? The bad thing about this is not only the stolen ancestry, but it's the fact that the Native Americans in the past have said that her calling herself Native American is actually disingenuous and actually offends them. They are actually offended over that stolen ancestry. And what does the DNC do? The DNC goes through and just ignores it. These are the people that are supposedly sticking up for the minorities, right? They're going to sit there for the minority and really go to bat for you. Just wait a minute while we get our white person, who is 1 in 1,024th Indian, South American Indian, by the way, and we'll get her to represent you while we sit here and go on about how we're for minorities. Dab. Yeah, this is why people are voting Trump. But regardless, at the speech at the time, Roosevelt said that Trump disrespects Native Americans. Says the girl who disrespects Native Americans by stealing their heritage and writing a cookbook and making money off cookbook and also using that Native American heritage to get into the bar exam for Texas. But Trump is bad. Hello, hey buddy, how are you?
Good.
I'm doing a live stream recording. I'll be with you in a sec. Sorry guys, someone just jumped into the chat. But yeah, Warren was not the only Native American ancestry to speak at the event. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker also delivered a speech, the first of 2 Native American women elected to Congress. Look, at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that Trump has signed 3 bills that affect the Native Americans. So, thank you, India country, for being such an important part of the American story. I recently signed 3 bills to support tribal sovereignty. This is the guy that they are claiming has gone through and disrespected Native Americans, right? And here he is putting in 3 things to help the Native Americans. Meanwhile, the DNC, their idea of helping them was to get some white woman whose vast majority of her DNA is European to get up and speak on their behalf. Welcome to the DNC 2020. Like, President Trump's relationship with the Native American has been difficult, offending with his use of the name of Pocahontas, which, yeah, it's fair. The slur Democratic president, right. We remain committed to preserving and protecting Native American cultures, language, and history while ensuring prosperity and opportunity for all Native Americans, said the president in a statement. He's literally done more for the Native Americans than Pocahontas has. But at the end of the day, she's getting up and she's speaking on their behalf. They don't get a Native American to come up. God, no. That would make too much sense. We got our own one. We got our own token Native American right here. She might only be 1024th, but hey, at least that 1024th, we know we can dominate and control this one. This one's on our side. We can control her, and that's what it's all about. They wanted Elizabeth Warren to speak there because she's one of them. The other guy, the Native Americans, if they got someone off the street, some leader of the community, he might have said a bit too much, maybe. I don't know. That's my thought anyway. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, have a great night. Enjoy yours. I'll see yous. And remember, live show tomorrow. One more video later today. Have a great night, guys.